Hi, my name is Joakim Tennfors and I'm the head of 3D production at Fibbl. I'd like to start by thanking Jean-Michel and the RealTime community for this event, and of course a huge thank you to our friends at Rapid Compact for the invitation to come here and talk to everyone. We are very excited to be here and listen to everyone's innovations, as well as tell you about ourselves. But before telling you about our company and our story, I'd like to tell you about our customer story. Our clients are primarily brands and retailers selling their wares through their own or their retailer's e-commerce. As I think everyone here is aware of, the fashion industry sales cycles are really short, with some brands producing as many as 25 new collections every year. Producing visual content effectively is then crucial. Once a product arrives at a brand's or retailer's warehouse, they need to quickly produce content to be able to launch the products on their e-commerce. This is a procedure that can take up to 25 days, tying up capital and losing competitive advantage. But it doesn't stop there. When they are done with their content for their e-commerce, they still need to produce content for their affiliate marketing. These people are often paid on commission, so they are really eager to get some content from the brands. They have the marketplaces through which they sell their products. They have their own marketing channels, and of course, the retailers that are carrying their products. All of these different parties have different product image specifications, such as resolution, aspect ratio, angles, background color. One example is one of our clients that has 70 different image specifications to adhere to for every single product. Note that everything we've talked about so far is still just traditional 2D content. Setting up photo shoots, editing images, making sure every channel has their needs met to be able to optimize your marketing is costly and time-consuming. A lot of brands and retailers are struggling even at this point. On top of that, here we are expecting everyone to talk about Web3 and creating 3D content for the metaverse and talk about the impact of NFTs. People generally don't want to talk about what's coming next when they're struggling here and now. We need to solve the barrier to entry if we ever want to see the metaverse as a household staple. We're turning this concept of visual content production on its head, and we work from a 3D first perspective. 3D is not something new that we want to tack on at the end of the content production. Instead, we start by producing a high-quality 3D model. This is a foundation for the entire content production pipeline. And this serves two main purposes. Firstly, from the high-quality 3D model, we can render 2D content that matches all of the image specifications that our customers need for all of the different marketing channels. And secondly, we can help them take their first step into 3D and AR for e-commerce and marketing. Our database of 3D models are made accessible to our clients through our SaaS solution. And with a simple script implementation, we can supply them with 3D content directly on their product pages in the browser. Once implemented, the script pings our database on every product page to look for Fibbl content. We also offer AR placement and virtual try-on for shoes and glasses, which we've developed ourselves. The challenge here was that we want to offer our 3D content straight in the browser, and as you probably know, the browser is quite limited on resources. However, our team has done a fantastic job, and we get stable 60 FPS performance with the model tracked and superimposed on the camera feed. On top of this content, with the help of Rapid Compact, we can make our models available in all channels that enable 3D and AR ads like Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Most beautiful of all, we can deliver this value from day one with our scalable production solution. But I want to talk more about that in a little while. Now, on the topic of interoperability, we had to come up with a way to have a high enough poly count and texture resolution to pass off our 2D renders as photographed images. But at the same time, we want the same 3D model distributed over 4G to a smartphone. So we had a data size target of only 3 megabytes. We want to have the same model specification in as many places as we can, because we don't want to compromise quality and the product experience. With some good compression algorithms and good trade-offs, I think we've hit a sweet spot. Our models have a high enough poly count for 2D renders, while also being able to be rendered real-time on a 5 or 6-year-old device, again, in a browser with a stable frame rate. Another challenge we have to solve was the discrepancy between real-time render like 3GS or Babylon and an offline GPU render like V-Ray, Octane, or Arnold. Same model, with the same PBR maps, results in a very different roughness and light calculations. So we had to create our baseline and build automatic processes to adjust for the discrepancies between renderers. When it comes to 3D and AR marketing on social media platforms, file size, texture resolution, and poly count is really restricted. And there's no obvious standard. So in order to accommodate all of those different platforms, we implemented Rapid Compact into our pipeline to be able to automate that compression. I mentioned earlier that we can provide all of this content and, most importantly, value to our customers the same day that we receive the products at our studio. We were able to do this thanks to our scalable 3D production pipeline. The obvious method of choice is, of course, photogrammetry. But when I started working with photogrammetry back in 2016, I made very bespoke 3D models, and between image acquisition, meshing, retopo, reprojecting textures, it could take up to a week to produce a single high-quality 3D model. This process is also very subjective and creative, so it doesn't scale very well. But we started fleshing out our pipeline with that technology as a foundation, building a pipeline from scanning to finished model that was complete and coherent. But after that, we switched focus and started looking at it like a factory, breaking apart every process. We started automating every step that we could and standardizing the entire chain so that everything scales and creates a predictable and cost-effective pipeline. We currently produce a 3D model in about 150 minutes from start to finish. Now, 80% of that is fully automated, but we're just getting started. We have several improvements on the way to further streamline the production and improving that time. Since a big part of it is already automated, it scales easily by just adding computing power for bigger batches arriving at our Stockholm studio. Something that we've also learned is that even though our client's primary business is e-commerce logistics, they still have some difficulties with logistics. So we're also working on a pop-up studio, which we can deploy at a client's warehouse to further increase efficiency. So we have solved our client's current problem by supplying them with 2D content for all of their different specifications. We're also able to add real-time rendered 3D content to their e-commerce with AR and virtual try-on, straight to the end consumer browser, no app needed. We're helping them take their first step into 3D and AR marketing through social media channels, the value which is well documented by other companies. I believe most of you have read the white paper by Snap Incorporated, for example. And we're able to deliver this value from day one because we approach it with 3D first. As we see it, we're innovating in 2 dimensions. We've built a 3D model factory by using robotics and automation using state-of-the-art software. And our business model, which is based on producing 3D models not for one client, but for our database that is accessible to all potential clients for a very low monthly subscription. With this disruptive business model, we're pulverizing the cost across the entire value chain and removing the barrier to entry into 3D and AR. We strongly believe it is our duty as an industry to make these technologies accessible to everyone. Retailers see 3D content as problematic, difficult, and expensive. But by solving the problems they're facing today, producing visual content, you also pave the way for the future. Now, as a final note, our CMO is forcing me to quote him on this. So Patrick, I hope you're listening. 3D first, you heard it here first. Thank you.